Court is now in session.
Welcome to Opening Arguments, where the primary objective is to get laughed out of the courtroom. We have 16 lawyers all competing to be called the cleverest counselor. This show was shot in the undisputed entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. And now let's welcome your host, Miles Weber.
Hi, everybody. My name is Miles Weber. Welcome to Opening Arguments, the show that's exactly like jury duty, but with joy. Today, we've got a couple of attorneys that are going to be trying to make the most clever argument possible to convince our jurors that they are right. So let's go ahead and meet our jurors over here. With us always is Blake Grantham. Blake, how you doing, man? Yeah, things go good. Tell everybody at home about yourself, just to remind them who you are.
I am a writer for Unconfirmed Breaking News, a satirical website on the internet. And I do the weekend edition, Life Through Blake's Eyes, and Blake's advice column, which is ridiculous, over the top, idiotic advice. And I'm happy to give it.
Perfect. On the weekends, you said, right?
This weekend.
Well, okay, one of these days we're going to start a weekday show and the rest of the world's in trouble. Good to have you, Blake, as always. And also good to have you, as always, Miss Kathleen Dunbar. Kathleen, how you doing today?
I am great, thank you. Nice to see you, Miles. You're looking very handsome.
Thank you very much. I
Soft
tried to
load.
shower today. It's a new thing I'm trying. I know, right? Kathleen, why don't you tell everybody at home watching about yourself?
Well, I am a comedian living in Las Vegas. I headline up and down the Strip. You can check out my schedule on funnydunbar.com. See where I'm working, and I hope to see you. And I'm hoping to see some great lawyering today. I want to hear these cases.
You and me both. Great lawyering. We don't get to say that phrase enough.
It was hard for me to say it.
It's okay. I appreciate that you said it. I'm going to work on it too. It's on my word today calendar. All right, and last but certainly not least, we have Mr. Derek Richards. Derek, how
are you,
doing,
Miles?
man? Doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing fantastic, thank you.
Right on. Go ahead and tell everybody at home about yourself.
Stand-up comedian here in Las Vegas, originally from Detroit. My website is DerekRichards.com. Has all my dates on there. Also special on Amazon Prime called The Irish Comedy Tour. But looking forward to putting some people in prison today.
Perfect. There you go, right?
Let's incarcerate somebody.
It's a chipper transition we love on
Heck
this show.
yeah.
You guys will get used to
Hang
it.
'em.
Let's go ahead and get this thing rocking and rolling. Let's meet our attorneys. They're returning champions in our bracket. So first we have Mr. Ty Kehoe. Ty, how you doing?
Very well.
Right on. Good to see you again. And then we have Mr. Bruce Flammy. Bruce, how you doing?
Good, Miles. Good to see you.
Good to see you again. Right on. Well, you both did such a wonderful job arguing last time. We brought you back to argue against each other. So the case that you will be arguing today is, should there be a jurisdictional limit that the Grim Reaper can sue someone for if they cheat death? So, Ty, you're going to go first. You have 2 minutes to argue. The floor is yours.
Thank you. The Grim Reaper should not be entitled to recover any funds from an individual who cheated death. Consider how someone cheats death. The only way that occurs is if Mr. Grimm himself failed at his job. And now Mr. Grimm is suggesting that people should have to pay him because he did his job poorly? That makes no sense and should be rejected by this court. But not only is Mr. Grimm requesting damages for doing his job poorly, he is requesting the right to sue for an unlimited amount of damages. Not even the witch Ursula was able to collect from the Little Mermaid an unlimited amount of damages.
Are you talking to me?
The damages were limited to the Little Mermaid's voice. In addition, Mr. Grimm has a monopoly on the death industry. Is it really fair to provide him an unlimited amount of damages just because an individual was able to beat him at his monopolistic game? Prices are put on situations by all types of miraculous people. The Tooth Fairy exchanges teeth for $1. Santa Claus works for free, as does the Easter Bunny. Why should the Grim Reaper be uniquely entitled to an unlimited amount of compensation? We believe that damages related to cheating death should be limited to $50,000. However, in the interest of compromise, and possibly to protect myself in personal interactions with Mr. Grimm in the future, we suggest permitting Mr. Grimm to also sue the accomplices of those who cheat death. If a person was assisted in cheating death by a spouse or another individual, then we believe it would be fair for Mr. Grimm to sue each individual involved in the cheating. We implore this court to limit the amount of damages for which Mr. Grimm can sue. Thank you.
All righty. Round of applause for Ty. Giving Mr. Grimm the what's what. Let me tell you what. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Bruce, you're up next. You have 2 minutes to argue. The floor is yours.
Thank you. There cannot be a jurisdictional limit if I have to sue someone who has made the highly suspicious choice of cheating me. You would not believe what it costs for me to collect these people. Oh, sure, it's easy when there's a war or a natural disaster. Yeah, it was God's will. Yeah, that's what that was. Take Charlie Sheen. Well, actually, I'll eventually take Charlie Sheen. But seriously, how is this guy still alive? Drugs? Check. Alcohol? Check. Unprotected sex? Check. Again. Do you know what it costs me to go to L.A.? Every time this guy goes off the deep end. Tiger blood? Winning? No, you're a mess and you're a cheat, Charlie. Yeah. Gary Busey. No, it's fine, Gary. You don't need a helmet. Ride as fast as you want. A nice cheat. So after the motorcycle mishap in L.A., I have to go and gather him up. Except it was a false alarm. But I eat the cost on that. But not with the teeth like that. You know who really owes me the most? Guitar player for a little band you may have heard of called the Rolling Stones. I'm talking, of course, of Keith Richards. Keith Richards has screwed so many people out of these funds. I almost had him once. We were in the Virgin Islands, the airport bar. He stuck me with the tab.
Don't screw with that man. Yeah.
But I don't hold a grudge because, hey, I'm deaf. I'm not a monster.
Oh, shots fired against Keith Richards and the Rolling Stones, everybody, and Charlie Sheen. We're coming for all of you, okay? We see you out there, Charlie. Let's go ahead and kick things over to our jury. That was a very well-argued case. What are your thoughts? Blake, we're going to start with you. What do you think? Who had the better argument?
Sorry, when I think about death, I just start coughing.
Yeah, we might have to call death on you right now.
Coughing.
Oh, okay, perfect.
This was a very close call. Gosh, I was telling them in the green room that I hate it when I'm involved in these cases where you can flip a coin and you can pick one. So I would say, after listening to them, a very, 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 very slight edge, slight keyhole, slight.
All right, so you're going with Ty. Okay, so we got one for Ty. Kathleen, what are your thoughts?
Well, again, I don't like to be cheated. I don't think anybody likes to be cheated.
Oh yeah, we're in Vegas. We don't like that around here.
So when but again, he talked about how he didn't do his job. Mm-hmm. So you're supposed to do the job. You're supposed to kill you. And then he failed. Yeah. It's pretty pathetic.
It is.
I mean, I've killed people. It's not that it was a natural disaster, just like you said.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That baseball bat just flew out of my hands.
He ran into it.
Yeah.
35 pounds.
It's really tough. They're both really good, but I don't like to be cheated. But I don't, the limits, you can't put limits when you sue somebody. I've sued people. That's why I got those million. Move along.
Are you saying
I'm going to go with
Bruce.
Guy. Bruce.
Yes. Okay, so we got one for Ty, one for Bruce. So that means, Derek, you're going to be the tiebreaker here. Who are you siding with?
I think we're really putting a sex on the Grim Reaper. I think the Grim Reaper is a woman.
Okay.
And I think if anybody knows, if a woman dresses up to go out to do something and it doesn't happen, she's pissed.
She is.
So I think there is a lawsuit that should be, happening here.
Yeah.
And, the fact that somebody is about to die and then somebody comes walking in with paddles and they're like, hey, and you're alive, there should be some responsibility placed, because if the Grim Reaper got dressed up, shows up at the hospital, and some intern comes in, hits him with the paddles, shoves some drugs in his mouth,
Is that fair?
Whatever. No, it's not fair.
Okay,
So I
so
think
who's
there's some liability on these people that screw up the path. That
So you're siding against cheating. So you're going with Bruce?
that is correct.
All right, then that means we have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Bruce Flammy. Ty, thank you very much for coming out. We appreciate you. Absolutely. Bruce, we're going to have you back for the next bracket, and we're going to have you back for more opening arguments. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for more right after this. Hey! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to more opening arguments. We have two new attorneys. Let's meet them, shall we? First up, we have Gary Burnett. Gary, good to see you again. How you doing?
Good, Miles. I didn't think it could happen, but you got better looking.
Oh, flattery will get you everywhere. Thank you so much. Arguing against you is going to be Patrick Driscoll. Patrick, good to see you again.
Good to see you again, Miles. Don't know why I'm here, but apparently you guys don't have good taste.
You are all fantastic. Our taste is subject to change by the minute and sometimes the second. So, let's go ahead and get into your case, shall we? The case you will be arguing is when Dorothy's house on The Wizard of Oz flew up into the tornado and landed in Munchkinland. Would her mortgage company have the authority to foreclose on her house in the new location if she ever got behind in payments? Gary, you have 2 minutes to argue. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as you just heard, the judge just gagged me. He told me that I couldn't tell you who owns the mortgage company, because if you knew who owns the mortgage company, this would be an open and shut case. But I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Maybe I can help you learn something. Let's suppose that you're on an anniversary dinner date with your spouse. And all of a sudden your spouse decides to go to the bathroom, and he or she leaves her phone on the table. And while he or she is gone, up pops a call from somebody named Sweet Cheeks. And a picture you've never seen before. Would you say that when your spouse came back to the table, he or she would be in a sticky wicket? Second question, you come to a fork in the road. What's the first question you ask yourself? Which way do I go? Third question, you remember Elmer Fudd? That guy who always after the wascally wabbit, he would one and try and he would always set traps.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
And he could never find the rabbit. And whenever he ran, he got tired. And what did he have to do? He had to west. And so when he got tired, he was westing. Now, I can't tell you who owns the mortgage company. 10 seconds. But you cannot allow this to stand. Thank you.
Time is up. Give it up for Gary, everybody. He argued such a delicate case. It was so wonderful how he argued it. All righty, coming up next, Patrick, you have 2 minutes to argue. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Jury, I'm surprised it's here today because I didn't want the case to get this far. Because it doesn't matter what you think or what the law is. The bank's not going to foreclose on the house of a lady who's murdered 2 people. Let me break the history down for you, all right? Look, in the real world, you drop a house on a bully, that's murder. Maybe negligent homicide if you got a good attorney. In Oz, you got a bunch of Oompa Loompas doing a musical number and helping her loot the corpse. Dorothy then gets a great group of people together, finds her sister, literally melts her over a pair of shoes. And why? Because Dorothy thinks she looks better in shiny red than black and white. I'm not going to foreclose on her. I'm not. I do, and then what? Our police force is a bunch of flying monkeys who are all on disability because of her last set of antics. Her best friend is a lion parading around with somebody else's heart. Okay, I show up, she befriends Carol Baskin, I'm Kitty Chow. I'm not foreclosing. It is not worth the risk. I have a wife and kid to think about.
Give it up for Patrick, everybody. bringing up all the points that we didn't even consider. Oh my goodness. Oh well, I'm excited to turn things over to the jury because you have quite the case to deliberate. All right, Blake, we're going to start with you. Let's just unpack this, shall we? There's so much to go over. What are your thoughts on the case you just heard?
Gary, Wicked Witch of the West. That was awesome. That was good.
That was great.
Very funny. Patrick came up with some compelling arguments. Should we be foreclosing on a house on a Dorothy, she was a serial murderer.
Yeah?
Now I had some friends back in Chicago get shot over some Air Jordans, but red slippers. I don't know.
I know.
I'm considering my options on this one.
It's a tough one. There's so much going on in these cases. So, Kathleen, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. Very compelling. I agree with Gary. You talked about if it's really the Wicked Witch West mortgage. That's terrible.
It's really bad.
I mean, was it Dorothy's house anyway? Wasn't it the aunt and uncle's house? What, the aunt and uncle own the farm?
Right, yeah, whose name is on the
Dorothy
lease?
was a little girl. She doesn't own a house.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, she didn't move. The tornado moved the house.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't know. But then again, Patrick brought up some excellent points.
Yeah.
He got that. I have no idea. There was some pigs or something. I don't know.
A lot going on.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know.
I'm confused right there with you because I know one of them they said the judge gagged them, and I'm like, you can't even get a good safe word out if you're gagged. So that's terrible. So let's get over to Derek now. What are your thoughts on the case we just heard? Seems like we're all a little confused.
I will say that when Gary was bringing up his argument, when the phone rang and Sweet Cheeks came up, that was my nickname in college.
I can confirm it was and still is.
It still is? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I think this really has a very trailer park feel to it, you know, with the tornado picking it up and moving it. I mean, there was a time back in my Sweet Cheeks days when I may have been in a meth lab that was in a trailer, and I knew they were behind on payments. I was trying to help out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this the tornado came by and blew it like 3 spaces over.
Okay.
And I'm sure they didn't pay any bill.
No.
At all. I mean, based on what they had there in the, home, it was tough.
It's a lot to consider.
But I would say, you know what? I still think that, listen, if you miss payments, you should be on the hook for the responsibility of that.
Well, I think we've got a lot to deliberate over. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to figure this all out. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more opening arguments right after this. Hey. Thank you very much. Welcome back to more opening arguments. This is the case that we are debating. When Dorothy's house on the Wizard of Oz flew up into the tornado and landed on Munchkinland, would her mortgage company have the authority to foreclose on her house in the new location if she ever got behind in payments? So we learned a lot before the break. So much stuff was going on. There were wascally wabbit references, and Sweet Cheeks was over here saying a bunch of stuff. If you don't know who Sweet Cheeks is, I give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. So we're going to kick things over to our jury. Let's go ahead. Let's come up with this deliberation right now. Blake, you're up first. Who are you siding with?
When I was talking to Wizard of Oz a long time ago, I thought it was like 9 guys on this show made out of metal, but it was 10, man. Let me see. Both of these guys, when they got to the Elite 8 because they had clever arguments the first time.
They did.
So, again, another slight favorite. Slight. I will go with Mr. Driscoll.
All right, so you side with Patrick. Okay, so we have 1 for Patrick. It's 1 vote for Patrick. So, Kathleen, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, Gary's right. It should not go to the Wicked Witch West Company. I also like Patrick's. I mean, if she doesn't, the market's hot right now. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
You want to hang on to that property. And I say, if they want it, come get it. Good luck getting it in Munchkinland. You think those little sons of guns are going to pay high rent? They're cheap.
No, they pay half as much in Munchkinland.
No, I got to go with Patrick. Go with Patrick.
Okay, so we go with another than Patrick. So, Derek, what are your thoughts?
You know, I like Gary. I like I like his Trump hairstyle. I like the red tie, which is in a compelling argument. He did. I say take the house. You know what I mean? Take it, you know? But listen, if it's going to blow from a nice neighborhood like here in Las Vegas, you're in Summerlin and it blows to North Las Vegas. If you want to come and get the house, that's like trying to get it out of Munchkin land.
This is very true.
That's a tough part of town.
It's very, very
If
true.
you know the city, you know what I'm talking about. So you know
exactly
what?
you're talking
Pay your
about.
bills.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Who are you siding with?
I got to go with Gary.
Okay, so I think that's 2-1 Patrick over Gary, which means that Patrick, you're today's winner. Give it up for Patrick, everybody. Gary, you're not going home empty-handed. You just got the first ever positive compliment about Trump's hair that has ever been said. So you can hang your hat on that. Thank you so much for joining. Patrick, we're going to be seeing you on the next bracket. But yeah, man, we argued so much, and I do want to thank our jury for coming and joining us today. As always, give it up for the jury. Make some noise for them, everybody. The jury was wonderful. And before we go, make sure you let them know where they can find you. So let's start with Blake. One more time. Let everybody know.
Breaking news on weekends. I do a advice column, and I do a thing called Life Through Blake's Eyes. A lot of zany stuff. You need a good laugh, go to unconfirmedbreakingnews.com.
Unconfirmed breaking news on the weekends with Blake Grantham.
Way to keep it simple.
.com. I know, right? Yeah. It's okay. There's a lot of alliteration happening today. We're all over the place. Kathleen, let the people know where they can find
my
you.
website's a lot more funny stuff on a Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and in July, comb my hair. Ain't too much. FunnyDunbar.com. You see my schedule and information, some videos of me. So, and my dry bar special will be coming out soon. That'll be on there too. So
perfect.
FunnyDunbar.com.
FunnyDunbar.com. You know it, you love it. You should go there right now. Thank you, Kathleen, for joining us. And Derek Richards, why don't you tell everybody at home where the people can find you?
DerekRichards.com is my website. Go on there. All my scheduled tour dates are on there. Also, my special, the Irish Comedy Tour on Amazon Prime. You can go there. If you have Prime, it's absolutely free. I've got a link on there, too, where you can hire Blake as a leprechaun for your next St. Patrick's Day party.
Yeah.
Look at that outfit.
He'll wear that outfit. Yeah.
That is beyond sexy. Put a little derby on him.
Oh, yeah.
Let him run around with some Guinness at your house. I love it.
Perfect. See?
How much time do we have left? This is done now?
Enough time.
We're going to end on that. That's what we're going to end on.
We got enough time to make sweet
Great
cheese
arguments, and that's what we end on.
So, ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for Blake? Big round of applause for Kathleen. And a big round of applause for Derek. Give it up for Derek and all the attorneys. My name is Miles Weber. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more opening arguments after this. Thank you kindly, everybody. Thank you for watching Opening Arguments. What did we learn today? There was so much that happened in our cases. First of all, it's Mr. Grimm is the name. Or Mrs. Grimm, because we had it argued that death is a woman for the first time, mostly because I think that black is slimming and it looks great on a woman, so that's probably got something to do with it. So, that being said, make sure you watch out for the Grim Reaper. You can cheat on your taxes, but don't try and cheat death, whatever you do. Under no circumstances you can do that. And we learned a lot about Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz and the jurisdictions of where the house would land, and if it was a mobile home, would there be a way for a train to be leaving Kansas at the exact same time, and if they met in the middle, would all the Munchkins die, or maybe a couple of the Munchkins, maybe two sisters? How are the flying monkeys? Where did they come from? What's going on? Maybe we'll have these answers and more on the next episode of Opening Arguments. My name is Miles Weber. Thank you for joining us. Have a good day, everybody. Good night.
When a judge wears a frown and is legally bound to tell a lawyer that's speaking that you better sit down, you know you're listening to Opening Arguments. When they get in a group saying things that they'll prove, and then the judge gets so angry, wants to have them removed, you know you're listening to Opening Arguments. To the jury, when you see that I am through, trust in every word I said, assume it's all true. To the jury, when you see that I am through, trust in every word I said, assume it's all true. When they speak of their case at a feverish pace, and the jury starts laughing, can I keep a straight face? You know you're listening to Opening Arguments. They don't care about facts when they make their attacks, and when they're making their statements, telling lies by the pack. No doubt you're listening to Opening Arguments. To the jury, when you see that I am through. Trust in every word I've said. Assume it's all true. To the jury, when you see that I am through. Trust in every word I've said. Assume it's all true. When they speak of their case at a feverish pace, and the jury starts laughing, can I keep a straight face? You know you're listening to opening arguments. They don't care about facts when they make their attack, and when they're making their statement, telling lies by the pack. No doubt you're listening to opening arguments. They tell you the grass is not real green. They tell you the sun is not real hot. They think you believe in anything if they say the words a lot. They'll defend most anyone. They say they deserve a speedy trial. They'll tell you that Jack the Ripper's nice because he has a friendly smile. To the jury, when you see that I am through, trust in every word I've said. Assume it's all true. To the jury, when you see that I am through, trust in every word I've said. Assume it's all true. To the jury, when you see that I am through, trust in every word I've said. Assume it's all true. To the jury, when you see that I am through, trust in every word I've said. Assume it's all true.
You, my friend,